gamepad instead.
Okay, we are.
With his awesome webcam.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. Welcome back to another awesome episode of Tommy Talks. And tonight, our guest, the one and only Hamza, been rapping, known as Hamza Vlogs, YouTube.com/Hamza Vlogs, and we're doing a little drinking tonight, folks. And we're gonna have a good time here. We're all about having a. Oh, you piece of garbage.
Hey, don't call me that.
No, I'm talking to my light.
Oh, I like that light.
Yeah, it's being a pain in the butt on me right now. How are you doing there tonight, Hamza?
Pretty well, pretty well. I hope you are, man. I've just been enjoying some of the Google Chromecast here. You know, I've been beaming old Dave Chappelle episodes to the TV and just reminiscing about some old comedy, stand-up comedy, you know. I know you're a little bit experienced with stand-up comedy. I've seen some of your videos. I've been to some of the events where you've done stand-up, so kind of similar.
Sorry, Hamza. I was listening to you and filling up my beverage also.
Okay, what you drinking tonight, man? That's a dark-looking liquid. Are you drinking something that was aged in bourbon casks? Perhaps.
It's a red wine, but he's not very good at at his bottling process. He's been bottling and storing it all wrong. I think air is getting into his wine collection, and it's turning too dark.
No,
it almost looks like Coca-Cola. It's so dark.
It's actually Coke and rum, and
it looks like you're drinking it out of a small chandelier.
Actually, I got this at the a fair actually here in Black Mountain for like $40.
For some reason I can't see your. Oh yeah, now you're back. For a second I couldn't see your video feed. But,
okay.
So yeah, man, I was showing some people. I had some guests at the house, some company tonight, and I was showing them your Tosh.0 celebrity bit, and you know, they were at least, you know, the one guy was like in disbelief, just in total awe. He was like, "Man, Tommy's really doing it, man. Tommy is really doing it."
Yes, and tonight we'll be talking a little bit about Tosh.0, and also we'll be interviewing Hamza. Wow, please mute yourself, Sega Camp.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise going on over there on the Sega Camp channel.
Sorry.
So tonight we'll be interviewing Hamza also, and talk about many topics. My cup here is filled with liquid beverage alcohol. So we'll be back to another awesome epic episode of Tommy Talks. And tonight we'll be talking a little bit about who has my stream on?
That's Sega.
Sega,
Sorry.
please.
Oh, damn it.
Watch the language, boy.
Look, let's just kick that guy out of here. Let's just.
No.
I like Sega Camp. No, he's cool.
I'll behave. I promise.
So, okay, this is I told you, Hamza, this is probably gonna be the hardcore questions, the real questions. Okay. So, Hamza, what makes you you?
Probably my tube. You know, I mean, because if you look at YouTube, what makes you you is right before the tube. So, wait a minute, I think I'm getting discombobulated here. I think what makes me me is just, you know, all the different circumstances, you know, the unique attributes that came together. And
Just a second, Hamza. Who has the echo? Somebody has an echo. Who has the echo? I'm sorry, Hamza.
We might have to get out the echo detector. Do you have one of those things like on Ghostbusters where we can scan and see who's got the most?
Okay.
I mean, I've got headphones. You got headphones.
Yeah, me too. Sega Camp, do you have headphones?
Got headphones? Yeah, he's headphoned up.
I'm trying to figure. So I hear an echo. I hear the echo, and I don't want it to interrupt the process of pestering anybody.
It might just be part of the Google Plus thing, man. It might be a little bit of latency going on, a little bit of lag. But let's just try to press
Yeah.
on, and
Okay.
move forward.
Like a ghost or something.
So as I was saying, what makes you Hamza?
I think I was just starting to turn into a big garrulous statement, loquacious definition of what it is to be an intrinsically different human being than every other human being, and that's just a unique set of circumstances that converged as my birth date, my birth second, my birth year, my birth location, and into my body. And I've been me ever since I was born. What was I before? That might be a more interesting question. What was I before I was born, Tommy? Can you give me a clue on that one?
A sperm cell.
Perhaps. And before that, even.
Leads to sperm cell. Now I know a little bit about you. Now one thing I know a little bit about Hamza is that Hamza, would you like me to talk about this subject, or is it open realm here to talk about anything here?
Yo, whatever's on your mind. It's your show, man. I'm here just as your last-minute impromptu fill-in guest, man. I'm a substitute at this point. So, I'm just rolling with the punches. I didn't come with an agenda. I don't really have anything planned. I'm not going to be showing off any bass solos or any, freestyle raps or anything. But why don't you just go with whatever comes to your mind, man?
Okay. I understand that at a certain age that you lost your father, and how hard was that, losing your father and not having a male figure in your life?
Well, I tell you what, I'm a really fortunate person to have had that happen while I was such a young individual. I wasn't even 2 years old, first of all, and so my physical memory of that is not really existent. I don't have a memory of any anguish or mourning period. I don't feel like I ever grieved, but of course, there was probably some deep-rooted psychological effect, or not. I don't know. It was definitely something that could have shaped part of who I am today in ways that I might not be able to understand because I don't have a degree in psychology or anything. But maybe that's part of what made me who I am today. In the terms of that, I like to have a good time. I like to have some friends around that maybe I can help out with some project they're working on. I like to work together with people. I like to collaborate. I like to be cooperative with other people that have similar creative interests, and maybe that's part of having that lost connection. Maybe as a infant, as a small toddler, I had that connection with a human being, my father, and then that was gone all of a sudden, and maybe that just created a yearning inside me to connect to other humans.
Well, okay. Well, would you like me to go into the details of what happened to him, or would you like me to
No.
keep it hush?
There was an accident, and we could just leave it at that,
Okay.
It wasn't like there was any foul play or anything. It wasn't like RoboCop or anything, it's nothing too terribly graphic, but, it's not really necessarily important as to the conversation at hand, but,
So would you mind if I say your full name, or you want me to stick to your YouTube handle?
You can just refer to me as Hamza. Just the one word Hamza is pretty good. I do have the vlog channel, Hamza Vlogs, and right now I'm just in here as Food Dude Review Crew because, that's our collective joint channel that we put our food reviews up on. So that's what I'm using tonight. But you can just call me Hamza.
Okay, Hamza. So, Hamza, where does Hamza come from? Where do you hail from? Because I know you're not from North Carolina. Where do you originally hail from?
Well, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and that was in 1980 something. A couple, maybe 3 decades ago, and I moved here to North Carolina after about a decade of being up in Pennsylvania. And it's weird because now I live really close to a county called Transylvania, so you could almost say I went from Pennsylvania to Transylvania, and they both sound kind of like Dracula. You know, I mean, I don't know if there's a connection there, but that's just something I noticed this second actually. Transylvania County is close to here. You know about where that is, Tommy? It's got a city called, or a town called Bat Cave.
Oh yes, I think I know where that is.
Yeah, I've been there.
I'm
Eddie,
all
I think
over
you're-
Transylvania.
Eddie, I think you're echoing. I don't think you have headphones on, and I think I know where I'm getting my echo from, and it's you. I'm sorry to say that, but
Oh, I got headphones on, man.
okay, I just don't know who I'm getting this echo from. That's kind of weird because all of us have headphones on. Sorry, but
It might just be a Google Plus thing, man. No worries. We'll press on, like Ren says. You know who Ren is, Tommy?
who's Ren?
Ren is a doctor on a show called Pretty Little Liars. You know, in which it's this mystery suspense show series that has had a few seasons put in Netflix. I mean, I guess it comes on TV. I don't know what channel, but you know, there's this rotating cast of characters that could be this mysterious mastermind behind all these unfolding mini horror episodes. They're not really horror, but they're thriller episodes. You know, it's kind of corny, really, actually. But once you get sucked in the story, it's like you want to know what happens next. And Rem was this doctor from the UK, and he says stuff like "Let's press on," and it struck a bell with me because I never heard anyone say "Let's press on" here in America. You know.
Now, Hamza, I understand that you have your own rap album. Now, what drew you to rap? Now, did you rap in Philadelphia, or did you just more or less start rapping when you moved here to Western North Carolina?
Well, first of all, when I lived in Philadelphia, I was a wee young lad, you know, in the elementary school, and so I wasn't doing much rapping up then. I was, you know, the rapping I did up there consisted of like rapping along with Amish Paradise on the radio, or Coolio 1 2 3 4 something new, maybe Whoop There It Is, you know, stuff like that.
There it is.
But yeah, you know, rapping on my
I
own
remember
was
that
something.
too.
You remember that tag team back again? Yeah, man. I think I knew that song from D2, The Mighty Ducks 2, the second Mighty Ducks movie. You know, about the hockey. But yeah. So I started rapping maybe in high school here. You know, I don't know, 2003, maybe 2002, something like that. It was something a group of friends of mine did that. You know. One of them had a car, so he'd give us rides home from school sometimes after school, and the big thing was like turn on instrumentals and flow right off the top of the dome. So, but you know, I never recorded anything until after that, you know.
What goes into creating such a you've changed your name so many times, Hamza Freezerburn to Hamza Scat Cat to Hamza something something. What creates your brain, and what goes into making a song? You just sit down and start looking at things and
Actually, that's exactly what I do as far as song ideas go. That's exactly what I do. I just want to add a note that I've never heard the name Hamza Scat Cat before, but I might actually use that as my next moniker. That'll be my handle for a couple months maybe. I don't know, but because I like it, it rhymes, and I think names that rhyme are automatically cooler. You know what I mean? And so let's see. Sometimes if I'm walking somewhere, you know, and I'm looking at the sidewalk, I think one time I came up with a little freestyle about the sidewalks. You know, I think at one point the song was about like, you know, that's what's holding me up and helping me keep my ground is the sidewalk. You know, keep me on my path. But then at the same time, it was like all of a sudden like, oh, if you try to battle me, you'll be under my feet like the sidewalks. And so yeah, sometimes it's just whatever I see. You know, with me, you know, the whole philosophy of, you know, the expulsion of the spoken word, the improvisation, is to actually discover something about myself that I didn't know. You know, I'm not so much talking as I am listening to what's coming out of my own mouth because I'm not really thinking about it before I say it, so I can only analyze it and think about it as I say it and after I say it, and then try to go from there in that real-time moment. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of improv in all art genres, not just lyrics, but yeah, anything in front of me, anything graspable, any intangible theory that I could try to think of how to put into words. It could come from any different realm of reality.
Oh, excuse me. Hamza? What is spoken word?
What is spoken word?
Yes, what is spoken word?
Spoken word is a form of out loud poetry, and being that it's poetry, it doesn't necessarily have to rhyme or follow a certain sequence. Like, I mean, a haiku is a type of poetry, but spoken word is usually just a mix of storytelling, traditional poetry mixed with a little bit of prose, and then since it's spoken and not written, you have all the vocal inflections at your disposal, which could include, you could use emotional delivery, tone of voice, volume, things like rests and pauses that would not really come across in written poetry. If you're reading something that someone wrote, you don't necessarily know how long to take between each word. You don't know how fast to say it or how slow to say it or what rhythm to say it with. So spoken word gives you a lot of freedom. But the one thing about spoken word is that usually, traditionally anyway, spoken word doesn't have any music behind it. Whereas, rap or hip hop lyricism traditionally, even if it's freestyled, it usually has a beat and music behind it. So that's where spoken word traditionally differs, is that there's not usually music behind it, so it's just really you're using the silence around your words as your white space, so to speak. If you're painting on a white canvas, that white space is silence, and your brush that you're painting with is just your words. You don't have music to rely on. You don't have that rhythm, the pulsating beat. You just have, your own thought process and your own heartbeat, your own kind of a dynamic frequency.
Why does it have to be white space, though? Why do you have to bring color into it?
Yeah, I feel you, man. No, I'm all about the power, man. And the thing is, our society is just built upon that precept of using those color associations, but that's neither here nor there, because that is just something that I feel strongly about filling is the white space. So there'll be no more white space. We got to use every bit. It's a philosophy I learned in art. They said if you leave one bit of white space on that paper, you didn't utilize your whole medium. So we're trying to eradicate the white space, so to speak. But that's just strictly speaking about art and a piece of paper that is presumably white.
It'd be funny if the art teacher was a tad bit racist, and the art teacher's like, if you leave that white space there, you are being racist. There must be color in there, because if there's no color in there, you are racist. And they're just like, yes, sir. It's like, is this all right, sir? I see some racism in there. You better clear up that racism.
I think the art teachers would normally be more concerned with eracism. When you start erasing stuff and it messes up your artwork, and then you can't really erase the eraser marks, and you've just made a permanent flub up. That's eracism. Sega Camp might have had to go get some snack or something. He might be back.
All right. Now, okay. Here's one question. I know now. The one thing I know is that you and Eddie know each other. Now, this is a question inside of a question. What is Eddie really like? Besides him just being here on the show, what does he really like to hang out with?
Well, I tell you what, Eddie is really like almost exactly what you see on his channel, Eddie Explores. You can tell that, when he does something, he likes to take his time and put a respectful amount of effort and give something his entire focus. And I think that's something about Eddie that you can tell by watching his channel, but also from knowing him,
can't hear him
for a number of years. I'm sorry?
That you can't hear him or see him?
No, not that you can't hear him or see him. I'm just saying you can tell with the camera angles and the lengths of the videos and the sequence of shots and the
I'm a
transition.
cameraman, Tommy, not a actor.
Yeah, it's just a
I'm
different it's
definitely
just a
not a
different
blogger.
medium. Just a different medium. But what I think I can tell about your personality from those videos is that you take things that you do seriously and you put the time into them to make a professional product, and I feel like that's the way, as far as I've known, from the first time I ever chilled with you at your house, man, you were really serious at that time about, guitar, and you weren't just one of these people that learned how to play a couple riffs from tabs. You were teaching me all about the music theory, the scales, the harmonies and the chords and a lot of stuff that since you've told me that stuff, I've been able to really see through the cracks of all these other lessons, quote unquote, people have tried to give me here and there. Sometimes I'll ask people, well, how can you do that if you're playing within this key? What are you doing here? And they're like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't even know what key I was playing in.
Mhm.
But so yeah, that's something to answer your question, Tommy. Something about Eddie that I could tell you as a person that has known him in person, that he's always been the type of person to really focus on anything that he's doing and really try to absorb all the intricacies of art and of any subject, and I think that's good. I think because for me, a lot of the times I'll be doing so many different things at once. I never really have the time to slow down and really indulge into one specific area, and so that was something I learned from Eddie from living with him and just being a friend of his, is to really kind of just slow down and not be doing 100 different things at one time, or else I'd never have anything, uh, you know, that was really developed.
Hmm. Well,
That's
okay,
true.
here's another question for you. I know you're not much of a fan of wrestling. But the thing is, who is your all-time favorite wrestler?
Abdullah the Butcher.
I don't think I ever saw Abdullah the Butcher. Let's see. I mean, how do you pick one wrestler? I mean, I watched a lot of the WCW cruiserweights when I was first starting to watch wrestling, and that made a big impression on me. Talking about like 3 versus 3 cruiserweight tag matches, and stuff like that is really hard to match the intensity and excitement of with just a like 1 versus 1 heavyweight type of match. But you know me, Tommy. I feel like the one wrestler that always stood out in my mind that really could come in and keep the excitement up and had the charisma was Bill Goldberg. And you got me that Goldberg DVD set, and I appreciate that, man. But I still feel the same way about him.
Yeah. Um, Question for you. Do you think Bill Goldberg could step into the ring today and do the best that he did when he first started when he was younger?
Well, that'd be really hard to say because you saw that first match with me at my house. I think I showed you that first match that he ever did, where he was in the ring and the guy's getting up from some slam that Goldberg he maybe did a pump handle slam and just threw him behind his head, and this guy's getting up kind of bewildered, and Goldberg is standing in the opposite corner of the ring, and he just does a back handspring out of nowhere. He's standing on his feet. He does a back handspring and lands on his feet, man. Not many guys that are 295 pounds can really do that. And the thing is, we never saw him do it again. He did that in his first match of all time and never did it again. So I don't think that I would guess he was not going to come back today and do that same exact thing as he did in his first match. But that's just one particular thing.
That is weird. Really weird.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
How about,
it's
how
good to
about the
look that up.
Junkyard Dog? We got any Junkyard Dog fans in here?
hmm.
Junkyard Dog. I think that was before my time, maybe. I don't know, man. My brother always really liked this guy named Buff Bagwell, but I used to hate the guy because he just had such an egotistic, like, cocky entrance, and he was just this big jerk, man. And but he's probably actually a pretty good wrestler, man. I used to like, let's see, the Dogface Gremlin and his brother Big Papa Pump. They were a good team. The Steiner brothers.
I saw the Steiner brothers wrestle live.
Oh wow, nice. Did you get to see the Steiner recliner?
They took on a tag team called the Mounties.
Now, Hamza, I've known
Nice.
you for a while. How many houses have you lived in exactly, starting on your own? And which was your first house when you officially moved out of your mother's house and started your own life and started doing things on your own? What was your first house you ever moved in?
Well, before I answer the question, I just want to throw out there that if anyone's interested in seeing Goldberg do that back handspring, just look up Goldberg versus Hugh Morris, which I don't know why they didn't just call him Humorous, but Hugh Morris versus Goldberg, and you can see him do that back handspring. Or if you just look up WCW debut of Goldberg, it's a short match, but it's really impressive. But anyway, yeah, I've moved and I've lived in a few different residences since you've known me, and I was doing that before I met you because I feel like the freedom of a person who rents is that you don't have to stay tied down to your location. You don't have to fix the roof and repipe the house and put in a new fridge. After your lease is up, you have the freedom to move on. Find a nicer view or find a bigger place or whatever.
Plus, it's convenient for the time, huh? You don't have to put up like 20,000 to get in the door.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I have a story about Hamza's living conditions. Since I've known Hamza, I've helped him out in the past with moving. So Hamza moved into this trailer, and it wasn't exactly new. It was used, and so Hamza was getting used to all the new stuff. And one night he decided to stick a pizza in the oven. He sticks in there, he turns it on, and then this horrible reeking smell comes out from the oven. So Hamza shuts the oven off and pulls the thing out, opens it up, and there's a bunch of mice wrapped up, ooey gooey, just all
God.
rotten with maggots inside the back of this thing, just dead mice. Am I right, Hamza?
Oh, that is nasty.
Yeah, it was one of the most horrible smells because if you can imagine, all you're smelling is burnt hair off of these carcasses, which are already rotting. And by the way, shout out to Eddie's cat, man. I hear the cat's doing some shout outs there. So shout out to the cat. And it was really terrible. And as a renter, I felt like, it's obviously the landlord's responsibility to take care of this oven. But in the meantime, what do I do with these, maggot-infested mice carcasses, and the smell in my house, because of course the oven, if you're cooking a pizza, it's like 450 degrees. So this heat blasted air is circulating all over the place inside. And it's like, cold outside. I don't want to have all the windows and doors open. So it's just like I had to put up with this terrible smell. I tried, using bleach-based cleaners and stuff like that, spraying it in there to try to kill the smell. I tried my best to clean it up, but finally I called my landlord and I said, look, man, I'm not going to be able to cook with this oven, dude. And that was hard for me. That it was definitely a learning experience because that was just one thing that happened in that particular place that I was at first reluctant to call the landlord and tell him about. I didn't want to seem like a problem tenant. I didn't want him thinking, oh, this guy's got something going wrong every day. Let's kick him out. But I kind of learned to just kind of.
That's kind of true. And besides, I am planning to move into an apartment directly in the town as well. So I see where to go.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm still
Good
stuck
luck with the
here,
move, man.
But I am planning to move eventually, move out.
Well, and if you get an apartment that's in a big complex, you can kind of assume that owner is going to take care of your apartment, because the more tenants that a landlord has, the more money they have coming in to be able to, distribute, hopefully.
Exactly.
One of the things Hamza had trouble with in this house was his sister. His sister had dropped this dog off and said, Hamza, can you take care of this dog? And his name was Coconut. Now, one thing about Coconut is if you didn't take Coconut out, she would sit down and go, arr, arr. And arf means it kind of has a funny bark, and it means if you don't take me out to walk, I'm going to poop on your carpet. Now, it's because Hamza would go to work, and of course Hamza's
I can see where this
brother.
is going.
What?
Can you smell what he's cooking?
Yes.
So when Hamza had to work long shifts, his brother would be home playing video games and sitting in his room.
Oh, I can definitely see where this is going.
And mostly just to say, Hamza would come home and find a miniature Garth Brooks concert in his front room.
What does that exactly mean? There was some country music playing when I got home?
No, it was a joke from another comedian. Like the dog had taken a gigantic dump in your front room, and there was flies and bugs surrounding it.
Oh,
So
that's the concert goers, is all the little bugs that are flying around. Yeah, it was a frustrating situation, but my brother was living with me at the time, and it was really as much his dog as it was my sister's. I mean, my sister bought the dog, but my brother was really attached to the dog, so I told him if he wanted the dog to come live with us, he was going to have to be the one to take care of it. Otherwise I would have probably, I definitely would have put more time into making sure those type of things didn't happen because I'd feel like the responsibility was mine. But I was really trying to put that responsibility on him because that was our agreement. You know what I mean? So I was like, look, man, he's going to be walking this dog. He's going to be taking the dog out. And, yeah, you're right,
Shit.
Tommy. Sometimes it didn't really happen. Exactly, Eddie. Exactly. Right on the floor.
I stay at Hamza's house oftenly, and I was at his new house. And so it was one morning that his brother was still living with Hamza, and Coconut was going, "Arr, arr," just saying, "I have to poop." So Hamza's brother comes out and he says, "Hey, Coconut," and so Coconut I think had already used the bathroom on the carpet at one point because Coconut I think she had already had diarrhea on his bed, as he explained. So he took Coconut out and sat her in the front room. I'm laying on the futon, and next thing I hear, "Oh, I have to use the bathroom," and his brother goes in the bathroom, and next thing I know, I look over, Coconut's squatting down, and out comes the fecal matter, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Bobby went to go use the
matter.
I mean, Hamza's brother goes to use the bathroom, but he doesn't take Coconut outside, and I'm like, that doesn't mix right. And Hamza
No. It seems like if you knew the dog had diarrhea, you would take it outside, not just put it outside your bedroom and then go to the bathroom because you had to pee. You know what I mean? And we asked him, we're like, dude, did you not know she was having diarrhea? He's like, I did, but I had to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, well, that's what, you were probably having a psychic intervention at that point because the dog had to go so bad that your senses were overridden with that urge to go to the bathroom, but it was really like you were having a contact buzz from the dog. You were supposed to take the dog out, man. And it's like that's how bad it got, and I hope it's better for now, but I don't have to deal with that anymore because now my brother lives with my sister, and it's her dog technically, so they have the dog.
I hate to be. It's just there's multiple stories. I could go on hours and hours.
Well, Tommy, as an entertainer, why didn't you see that as an opportunity? When you woke up at the futon and you saw that sight, and like you said a minute ago, the fecal matter. Why didn't you come up with one of those gnarly rhymes, man? Like when you're swimming in the pool and you're feeling something cool, or like when you're climbing up the ladder and you're feeling something splatter. Why didn't you come up with some like funktaculous like bust a rhyme about like diarrhea? Diarrhea.
You mean like this? When you got a dog pooping on your bed and it's liquid diarrhea, don't go to the bathroom. Take your dog outside. Be responsible, because your dog's gonna leave crap on your floor. Because be watched out. Don't use the bathroom. Take that dog outside, or you might step in fecal matter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's very frank, man. I really like the directness of that. But I was just thinking of something like when you see the dog squat, but you're sitting on the pot, diarrhea. Because that's how those gnarly jingles go.
On that note, Tommy, I'm getting some questions from the fans here. Are you ready for them?
Well, we'll take those questions, but let me finish this interview.
Okay.
Okay,
We're at about 35 minutes now.
Also, I want to give a shout out to my $25 patron, Bob Dylan. Which, if
Bob
you're watching
Dylan.
this, if that's his YouTube, that's his Patreon
Wow.
handle, and he donated $50 to help.
What
the
if it's
Tommy
really
Network.
Bob Dylan, man? That's
Like
awesome.
Rolling Stone, baby.
So the thing is that
That
Bob
sounds pretty
Dylan,
cool.
If Bob Dylan, if you're watching, you're welcome to come in and chill with us. And you are a $25 patron, which my vlog is uploading. And this is the rule now. When I upload my vlogs, I will put them on the Patreon website. And you guys have a total of 3 days to watch the vlog. And after 3 days are up, I'm putting it up on the on the YouTube site.
That's awesome,
that's-
Tommy. I just want to say that's really nice for the patrons to be able to see those videos first, and I think the patrons have made a big difference in your delivery of your material, because when I see you standing there with the microphone and with the headset on with the extension cord, it just sounds so much clearer to me than when you used to have to stand over there with your speakers turned all the way up and then just rely on the webcam across the room to pick up your audible words. I mean, now I feel like I can hear everything you say. Everything sounds clear, and I appreciate the patrons probably as much or more than you do, because I'm a viewer of yours, and I see the quality's way up, man. Quality.
Now, here, I think this is the question everybody's been waiting to hear. How did me and you become such a tag team together and rock in the YouTube universe? How did that happen, Hamza?
Well, I feel like basically, like in the universe, there's so many different type of elements. If you look at the periodic table, there's so many different type of elements. I feel like, you and I might be some of the rare earth elements out there, and somehow it just so happened that, our paths connected at the place where we work, and, that wouldn't have been enough to really create the dynamic. But, I think, we started spending some time in the studio. Funktaculus was born. We were just hanging out. We became friends, man. We were main damies. Comb me down on a panty sign and all that. Wadate, and then Buntini came out. And when Buntini came out, it was just like an epic,
A chemical reaction.
Yes,
well,
thank you.
What
yes.
Was just to say, what was the terminology, the match lighting of our friendship? What was the first moment that me and you came in contact with each other? What was that defining moment?
I feel like in a way, in retrospect, it's kind of almost a moot point, but the first time that we ever met, I'm sure is what you're asking about specifically. I was working in the deli and you were on break, and you came back there to get some food, and you're like, "Oh, hey man, have you ever seen Major Payne?" And I was like, "Oh no, I don't think I've seen it, man." I was about to ask you what it's about or who's in it, and you're just like, "What? You haven't seen Major Payne?" And you start looking around you, and you just scream at the top of your lungs, "You idiot!" And then you just turn around and walk off, and I'm like, dude, if I had a frying pan near me, I would chuck it at this guy's head, But honestly, that's probably not what made us become great friends, man. I think I found out that you didn't have a MySpace, and your parents said you weren't allowed to have a MySpace, and it was, I think, the duty of not only the rebel in me, but also, the liberator in me, that I wanted to make you a MySpace so you could have that freedom of speech, that network connection with the internet community, and also, you gotta rebel against your parents a little bit, man. Come on. So I think it was MySpace. If I had to look back and pick one thing, I would say it was MySpace. But more than that, I think it was Funktaculus, which was playing music in the studio and recording the raps and spoken word and just getting instrumental with it, man. I think those two things equal.
Going back to that rare earth element thing that you were saying before, Hamza,
Yes.
I really wish I was one of those. Could I be one of those rare earth elements as well?
I mean, you may be, because something about your covalent bonds have allowed you to connect so well with the Sega realm of, the technology that has been brought out for gamers, and I think that might be proof that, maybe you're not one of the rarest earth elements, like, you're not one of those ones that has to be made in the lab or something, right? But, maybe you're one of the rarer elements out of, all the common ones, you know, and
Ooh,
that's
I like
good.
the sound of that.
That's good, man. You know, maybe I'm xenon, and you could be one of those like plutoniums, you know.
The elements of harmony.
Exactly.
What was
I made
that?
a joke.
The elements of harmony.
The elements of harmony. Yes, I like it.
I was talking with my cousin, and I was thinking about something, and I said to him, I said, I don't like Superman because he's too much of a show-off. And I said, if Lex Luthor was giving him a gift, a Christmas gift, and he's like, here's a gift for you, Superman. Here's a gift for you. And he's like, oh, thank you. Well, of course, he doesn't know he's Superman. He's like, here's a gift, Clark. And he's like, oh, what's it made of? And he's like, oh, it's pants. He's like, but what's it made of? He's like, oh, it's made of kryptonite. Oh, thank you. I appreciate this so much. What? You're looking kind of weak there, He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm doing fine. And he's like, can you just hold on just a second? Okay. Where did the pants go? Oh, I'm wearing them. Are you sure those aren't the same pants you're wearing before? No, you can see the color. Perfect. Yeah.
That does seem funny.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he is. He's just refusing to actually answer that question.
Is that a question to me?
As you know, I do stand up, and I wanted to add before I finish this interview, I wanted to put in a segment of comedy. Don't you hate it when you walk into the bathroom and it's like a public stall, and you see that all the stalls are filled up, but the one particular stall, the gentleman is having problems, and not the regular kind of problems, the kind of problems like diarrhea. All you hear is, oh! And all you want to do is just step out, but your curiosity catches your eye. You're just like, "Are you all right, sir? Leave me alone. Go away, sir. Are you sure you don't mind? Do you need any Pepto, dude? Are you serious? No. Do you need any Pepto? Pepto's good for you." And it's just like, dude, I'm serious. Leave me alone. Okay, sorry. It's like, because I have some Pepto. Come on, are you sure? You're telling me you're in a bathroom and you're offering me Pepto while I have diarrhea coming out of my rear end. Yes, it's always good to carry.
You ever notice how every time he talks, eventually, sooner or later, dissolves into poop jokes and poop humor? And
There you go, Hamza.
Oh, beautiful, man. I like that. Hydrogen, argon. Yeah. Oh, man, that's a real thing. I didn't even know that was a real thing. Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, it spells the word harmony.
Beautiful.
That looks pretty neat there, Harm.
So, Hamza.
Thanks, Mark. Thank you.
To finish up this interview.
Oh, you're on a
is-
rush to just push me out the door, huh? I'm basically kicked
No,
out.
no,
I didn't pay my rent. I'm just basically, I'm in the red line. You're flashing the blue light at me so I can hurry up and get off stage.
No.
Like on the stand-up stage.
After our interview, we're gonna go into talking about stuff, and
Oh, that would be a lot different than this.
the main question is, what is the Food Dude Review Crew?
What is the Food Dude Review Crew? Funny you should ask, being half of it. And as you self-described, you called yourself the main part of the Food Dude Review Crew in one of our episodes. I said, here's one half of the Food Dude Review Crew, and he said, actually, the main part. So, I guess if we were to divvy it up gram for gram, you would be the main part, because it's usually just me and you and the occasional guest. But what are you starting to say, Mark?
About to say it's a bunch of dudes reviewing food.
Exactly. Foods and dudes being reviewed, but is it the dudes being reviewed by the food? No, it's the food being reviewed by the dudes. It's short actually for the Food Guru YouTube Review Crew dudes, but Tommy doesn't like for me to say that. But it's basically it's Tommy's local network, I think, because basically he's got the global network, he's got the national network, and what's he doing in his local town? Well, he's going around reviewing mom and pop restaurants and trying to put that information out there for tourists and for local people to be able to find restaurants that might be a couple blocks the other way from where they live, not in the downtown, maybe off the beaten path a little bit. Just trying to support the local community a little bit. I think it's an outreach. It's a nonprofit. Nobody's getting paid for this. It's just something. It's a labor of love. I think is
You should
to
do
sum it up what it is.
We should do something similar in another state or something.
What, like a food dude review crew goes over the state line, interstate?
Yeah.
It would be neat, like, because one time when I saw some videos that Tommy was traveling with a buddy, who became his arch nemesis, Rhino Doodle the Poodle. I think he was riding with him from Kansas all the way back to North Carolina, and they went through what restaurant did you go through? It was the White Castle, I think.
Yeah, White Castle. That was definitely White Castle.
I just want to ask, why has it got to be White Castle, man? What's going on here? I'm starting to feel you, Eddie, man. I don't know if I can deal with all this, but I just wanted to say, this is a random note, Tommy. I'm sorry to go back to what we were talking about earlier, but when we were talking about professional wrestling, and I mentioned the Steiner brothers and the Steiner recliner in particular, Scott Steiner's signature submission move, I just wanted to let you know that I witnessed somebody reinvent that move in Philadelphia. My boy Yao, man, he got on somebody and he started just pulling them back. It was the Steiner recliner, but like he didn't know that, and he was like, "This is my move. It's Yao Power," and because his name was Yao, and so he named that move Yao Power. So if you ever see anybody do the Steiner recliner, even Scott Steiner, you just gotta hold up a sign or something that says Yao Power. Let it be known.
I don't think Scott Steiner would appreciate that, really.
Yeah, out with the old and with the new, man. Scott Steiner's getting old.
Hamza, why do you have a YouTube channel exactly?
Is it because Tommy begged you to do it?
He didn't necessarily beg me, but he very strongly encouraged me, and sometimes that's what it takes, to push me off the plank. Is very strong encouragement, which may or may not be a euphemism. I'm not even sure, but he really, he got me into it, bit by bit, and I became, I don't want to say fascinated, but I became interested. I became interested in just, getting a little bit of my life, on some kind of media, because if I got hit by a meteorite or something, or a meteor, or a bus, or like even something less exciting, like if I got hit by a tree limb as I was walking down the street, it broke off a tree and killed me, what would be left of my legacy, which I don't even think I have enough to call a legacy, but so I think it's nice, to have some of this time that we have documented in, a historical database, which I think that's what YouTube becomes for people. People, they might stop doing YouTube, or they might pass away physically or whatever, but that's, unless someone flags it a million times or whatever, it's going to be on there.
Have you seen my other channel, Hamza?
DJ? The DJ channel?
No. Well, we won't say what exactly it is here, but that's gotten over, it's gotten about 500,000 views now.
I don't think I might have not realized it was a separate channel, actually. I thought maybe you were just doing a different type of video to bring views to your channel, but I didn't know it was a different channel, because I think I know what you're talking about.
Yes, that's going real good. I'm surprised.
Nice, man. It seems fun, man. It definitely seems fun, and it seems like if you really got on a roll, you could keep that stuff going endlessly.
Yeah, it is fun.
I know everybody here is aching to ask questions about the Tosh.0 experience, so I leave the floor open for anybody to ask me any questions, and I will answer it fairly, as much as I can.
All right, so we got a question from one of your fans, Tommy. Here it goes.
Where does that come from? Is that in our group chat here? Because I don't see anything in the group chat.
It comes from the cosmic ether.
God.
they want to know.
Okay, he's on the desktop.
I'm getting all hemmed up here.
Okay, there's the window.
Nah, I'm all fucked up.
What's the language?
Basically, they want to know, you know, how about the people in Black Mountain? You know, how did Tosh.0 go over with them? And has anybody's views in Black Mountain changed on you? Are you a local celebrity now? What's going on?
Well, to be honest, about 30 people showed up to the event, and the Black Mountain newspaper is doing a story on it. They were taking some pictures of the event, and I believe my cred has gone up in Black Mountain. And I'm a two-time world heavyweight champion of being on television and also being on being on MTV's Made and Comedy Central. If I have the money, I would invest in a Comedy Central belt and an MTV's Made belt and a TV belt.
Are people recognizing you more in Black Mountain now?
That would look cool, Tom, if you made those.
Yeah, make them, dude.
Are people driving by and like, oh my God, that's Tommy, I saw him on Tosh?
Yes, I have had a few people say.
Oh.
I've had a few people say, yeah, they congratulations on Tosh, Tommy, and just a lot of compliments, honestly, and it was very, just you know, Daniel could have ripped me a new one, but it felt like he threw some jokes in there, but honestly, his main goal was just to give me a shout out and also to interview me, and that was a worldwide Tosh.0 show.
Well, he was still funny though. I mean, you know, he accused you of running a sweatshop and, you know, told you Brock Lesnar was going to kick your ass on the way home.
I want to say this, Brock Lesnar, I'll take
He's a
you
mercenary.
I'll say this, I'll take you on any place, anywhere, and also a WWE ring. I know you're suspended, but the fact is I could kick your butt any place, anywhere. You name the place, Brock Lesnar.
Hey Tommy, I know Brock Lesnar's weakness.
Whatever happened to CM Punk?
CM Punk, he was a little baby and he quit the WWE and went off to UFC. And
I heard he quit because of you.
Oh,
I heard he quit because you kept on calling him out on the internet, Tommy. You kept calling him out on the internet, and he couldn't actually take it, and he actually quit working at the WWE because of your videos. So job well done, man. I just want to say congratulations, and also I wanted to share with you Brock Lesnar's his weakness, you know, because this is out there everywhere. You probably already know this. It's out there everywhere that Brock Lesnar had to actually take a lot of time off from wrestling and from UFC because he developed some kind of intestinal issue because he was eating a diet of 100% meat, you know, no carbs, no anything else, no vegetables, no fruits, nothing, just meat, and it actually started dissolving his intestines. His guts started rotting out from the inside. So I think if you get Brock Lesnar in the ring, are you gone, Tommy? Did you leave the room?
No, I'm here. I was taking care of something real quickly.
Wait, you were hitting the pipe? Okay, so anyway, yeah, you and Eddie both disappeared around the same time, man. I wonder what was going on.
Yeah, he only does it off camera, so people don't know.
So, yeah, you need to get him in the ring and tell him you want him to sit down and have a food review contest with you. You know, whoever does the better food review should win the title, and whoever loses has to leave WWE forever. You know, because if he starts eating, his stomach is going to start tying itself in knots, and you just look at him and you say, come on, keep going, keep going. And,
oh, yeah, make it happen.
He'll get taken out of there in an ambulance, dude, because he cannot eat meat.
Come on, Brock. Come on, Brock. Have this chicken sandwich or have a chicken wing. Come on, come on.
You start calling him Broccoli Lesnar.
Broccoli Lesnar. Come on, Broccoli Lesnar. Come on, come on. No, Tommy, I'm not gonna do it, Tommy. Just back off. I'm not no country boy.
Oh, is broccoli feeling full?
Is broccoli's intestine rotting right now? Oh, I'm so sorry. How are you feeling? Oh, you're feeling ill? Oh, I'm so sorry, Brock. You're such a mercenary.
Hey, Tommy.
Yes.
I know we're buds, and as buds, we normally have butting head disagreements about opinions. And I just want to tell you that as far as Superman being a glory hog goes, that whole idea where you're calling him a glory hog, you don't like Superman because he's a glory hog. How do you explain the whole Clark Kent facade? You know, he doesn't want to take any of the credit for being Superman, so he came up with a whole other character so he wouldn't have to all the time be, taking the credit for saving everybody's lives, man. And so Clark Kent is the humble side of Superman. How do you explain that when you say he's a glory hog? Why does he have the Clark Kent side?
Okay, here's the thing. One thing I was thinking is it's every Superman fan has always said this in the past. It's ridiculous
Because we're all the
because
same, right?
no, I've always heard this said from Superman fans, or people that are against Superman. Really? He takes his glasses off, and it's like suddenly he's Superman. He puts his glasses back on. He's Clark Kent. You know, oh yeah, I put my glasses on. I'm still Tommy in C2010. I take
Yeah,
my
but you
glasses off.
get a microphone in your hand, and all of a sudden you're a talk show host of Tommy Talks. But
Yeah,
I mean,
all of a sudden.
the glasses
Well,
come off.
All of a
and
sudden.
wear camp.
let me tell you something, Tommy. I don't think it's about the glasses. I think it's about if he wanted to be a glory hog, there wouldn't be Superman. He would just call himself Clark Kent all the
I have
time.
to say
He'd be
that
flying
Lois-
around in the same clothes, and he would just be Clark Kent saving the day. That's what the name of the movie would be. That's what the name of the comic would be, Clark Kent.
Also, to be honest, I think Lois Lane has taken Superman for a ride occasionally. So, I think maybe, I know Clark Kent's a geek, but coming into the bedroom, whenever those two are getting romantic, can you imagine if Lois Lane is like, well, Superman, what's role play? And he's like, okay, how about you play a geeky reporter? Clark? What? I'm not Clark. I'm Superman. Superman's ultimate identity, Clark Kent. Oh my gosh, I've been sleeping with Clark Kent this entire time.
Yeah, you think she'd recognize something about, like, the way it felt or something.
Oh, Superman. Oh, Clark. Oh, Superman. Wait a minute. I can't tell the difference.
I tell you, I just want to say, Eddie, man, you got a really sensitive microphone. I can hear every crunch and every rustle and every twist of the chair and footstep in your room, buddy. Nice mic.
Eddie, what are some of the questions in the chat?
Well, that was it for now.
There's no other comments?
Always welcome to take more.
Let me ask you this, Tommy. Tommy, have you noticed anything since we made the Food Dude Review Crew page about 6 months ago? Have you noticed anything different about your presence around the local areas?
Yes, I have. The Food Dude Review Crew has become more popular than my YouTube channel. That's what I've noticed. People come up to me all the time and say, "Excuse me, aren't you the food reviewer?" And I'm like, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love your show. It's so awesome." And I'm like, "Thank you, but I make other material too, ma'am." And they're like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's called Tommy NC 2010." It's like, "Okay, that's cool, but I love your other channel."
Yeah, well, you know what's
Thank
funny
you,
about
ma'am.
that? Tommy, you remember that show, or the movie rather, called Chef?
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember the food reviewer in that movie?
Oh, yes, I remember that.
I think I saw him driving down the road in Black Mountain earlier today.
You think you saw that actor driving down the road?
It looked exactly
You mean
like
Jon
him,
Favreau?
It looked exactly like him.
Really?
No kidding, man.
John Favreau, that's the guy. I'm pretty sure that's the guy you're talking about.
Well, can you imagine if we got him as a special guest on the Food Dude Review Crew, Tommy?
Now that would be awesome.
Also, Tommy,
Yes.
Tommy, I want you to know about something that's coming up that you might be interested in here. Local event. It's Jay Leno coming to town. Would you like to meet Jay Leno?
Yes, I would. Where is he going to be?
He's going to be at the Harrah's Resort, the casino over in Cherokee.
Wow. How much is it going to be, Hamza?
It's probably going to be about like 1,000 people, or maybe even like, I don't know, 50 miles away, or it might even be like a once-in-a-lifetime event. Those are all numbers.
Like,
How much? What?
Money? How much the tickets?
Probably depends. I don't know. I actually don't know any of the amounts, but it probably depends on where you sit and how soon you get your ticket, and also there might be a backstage meet and greet. I don't know. I shouldn't just throw it out there like, do you want to meet him? Because there might be no way to meet him. But hey, man, you could at least see him.
Yeah. I would be interested in doing something like that. And
he's retired, isn't he? Is he just doing stand-up now or what?
I think he's retired. He's done with the late night show here.
So he was tired, and now he's tired again. He's retired.
I think he's retired, Hamza. I think he's done with the late night.
Yeah,
he's
me
totally
too.
fatigued.
Like, I remember seeing the Late Night with Jay Leno show like 10, 20 years ago. I don't see that anymore.
Because he retired and someone else took over. What's his face? Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy
Fallon?
Oh,
I wish it
yes.
was Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel would be great.
One of them took it over.
To be honest, who would be better to run the late night show?
Tommy MC 2010.
Yes, me. And
Agreed.
Also,
not Conan O'Brien.
Yes, Conan O'Brien.
No, I like Conan on TV.
Before you get too far away from it, I'm seeing about $80 to $115 for the Jay Leno tickets.
Oh, for the Harrah's Cherokee Resort? Okay.
$80?
Hey, Tommy, you just got flown to Hollywood and flown back, and you got a big fat check from Comedy Central. Don't be saying $80 like you never had any money in your life. Come on, you have a job.
Yeah, but he had to pay his mom back for the extra night in the hotel room.
Man, where were you staying, man? The top floor of, like, the tallest skyscraping hotel on the West Coast, Tommy?
Come on. I even have a well-paid job and a pension. I'm doing pretty fine with what I got.
Well, Hamza, just let me know when the event's going to happen, and I would love, honestly, to go to see the Jay Leno show. And I
Fantastic.
think
In Cherokee, here's some seats for $35.
$35, Tommy.
I may go for the $100 seats. What are the
first
$100?
80's too much. Now he wants $100 seats, man. I'd love to sell you a car, Tommy.
I got this car for $35.
me
Give me that $29,000 one.
Yes, the as they would say in Trailer Park Boys, it's I hate they should use this definition all the time. The shitmobile.
Hey, Tommy. Can we take a second and say what's up to some of the new people in the hangout here, man? I see somebody, what's his name, Marky D or something like that, and then we got another guy over here.
That's Mr. Mayhem. Just to let you know, the guy is in charge of MCW.
Oh, Marky D, great to have you in here. MCW is awesome, man, and I know Tommy's really excited about that whole outfit and his character, of course, and he was trying to convince me to help him make some promos at one point or make some of my own. But hey, man, do you know about Marky D, the rapper?
Yeah, Prince Marky D and the Fat Boys.
Yeah, man.
That's
that old school shit.
You two will get along very well.
Marky D, Hamza is a wrestling fan, and he's been a past wrestling fan. What would you think about somebody like Hamza, the crazy kind of look that he has? What do you think somebody like him?
Easy to create on 2K, but how big of a wrestling fan are you?
I would say probably compared to Tommy, I'm like an ant and he's a rhinoceros. But I still have there's a part of me that really appreciates the high flyers, the intensity, the 3 versus 3 cruiserweight battles of days gone by, and still probably a huge Rey Mysterio fan. But I don't really watch it anymore at all.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Tommy's on MCW. I actually watched his fight that he won. I think he beat who did you beat, Tommy? Some guy that was dressed up like he was all gothic and stuff, man. And I kept thinking this guy's gonna win. And then Tommy came with the positivity slam, man, and it was just like, dude, he actually won. I couldn't believe it. I was on the edge of my seat for that one.
I would be surprised if I was in the future of MCW. I would find that cool. But then again, though, I was already on one before, and it's kind of one I kind of regret right now at the minute. So this is why I say in the future, though.
Do you have a character that's active, or did you have a character
Muted
before?
me. Don't mute me, you son of a bitch. Hey, we got a fan question
Say
for
that
you.
stuff, Eddie.
Tommy, he better get my talk.
We got a fan question for you, Hamza.
Let's go.
What would you like to see Tommy do next in his YouTube career?
I would really like to see him. You know, there were some ideas that were brought up and were discussed and are on the table currently for him doing maybe some volunteer work in town and incorporating that into his vlogs with or without a cameraman. But I think some of that volunteering in town and you know, doing some community services and you know, stuff like that. I think it would be wonderful just to keep the whole positivity campaign going strong and just really showing people that, you know, everybody, even if they don't have a specific skill or a lot of pile of money, anybody can help out and pitch out and help people wherever they are. I think that'd be good. You know, Tommy, what do you think about that? Is that gonna materialize soon, or just in the future, or what are you thinking about doing, buddy?
Maybe in the future, but also, me and Hamza have some high clip microphones, and I'm also getting into the idea of doing some prank videos, some funny prank videos. Just the simple idea of.
Are your pranks gonna be positive or negative?
Positively pranks. What? I never heard of this.
Exactly.
Not exactly negative, but kind of like going out in public with a Morse suit on and acting like an alien, and then looking towards the sky. And people get close to me. It's like,
Hey, Tommy, your microphone. Tommy.
We can't
Yeah,
hear you.
Tommy, your mic's down here, and you're up here.
Excuse me, my Johnson wants to say hello to you.
Whoa! That's not V-Chip.
I didn't hear anything.
No.
I didn't hear anything at all.
Johnson on the camera, Tommy.
Want to see medic?
Is that what the D in Marky D stands for? What's going on here?
It's for the vitamin D that I supply the women with.
That's the Buff Bagwell mentality.
Oh God, where's this show going to?
Once Marky D joins, there's anarchy everywhere.
Now, I have to say that for everybody here in the chat, if you guys have any questions about the Tosh.0 experience, you're welcome to ask them, and I will answer those questions here.
What were there any scenes that you did with Tosh.0 like that were really funny that you think should have been in the episode that weren't?
It was debatable because there was some situations that we did, some scenes that we did that were kind of funny, and I thought were kind of a tad bit racist. But you know, it's Tosh.0. He's
you spoke to a transvestite. You're scared of racism, but you spoke to a transvestite, Tommy.
Tommy, are you allowed to divulge any of that material? Are you allowed to talk about what some of those shots were that could have been considered outtakes?
Oh yeah, he can talk about that.
Honestly,
Spill the beans.
One of the things that happened during it was Daniel kind of went after the needle felt figure. He's like, "Are you serious? You sew these things?" And you know, it doesn't even have a whole body. It's like half of a body here, and he's going into detail of how small it is. And he's like, "What am I wearing? Am I wearing like a sweater or something like that?"
And you found this to be racist against needle felt figures?
No. I just found it to be kind of critical, but it was alright.
But the joke that they kept about the sweatshops, that was really funny.
I really like that.
That was hilarious.
In my review,
I should have said a special ed needle felt factory, and I didn't say that. It ended up coming out saying needle felt I ended up saying it was a factory, and so Daniel watching Daniel sit there and think and stare at this replica of him. He's thinking what he can make fun of this thing, and he's just looking at it. I know he's thinking it. He's trying to find that curveball to throw at me, and I finally say, "Oh yeah, I was in the factory," and he's like, "Oh, Tommy, I better not have found out that you're running some kind of sweatshop there."
It was funny the way you said it all started. You were like, we were all in class, and then the teacher came in and had this factory idea and got us all making these things.
Wait,
So-
there was if you guys remember the show Malcolm in the Middle, there was an episode of when the teacher had the kids making lanyards, and he took the lanyards and started selling them for $5 on the side of the street.
Oh, hell no.
So I have to say that working with people say that they say Daniel Tosh, he's an idiot. No. Daniel Tosh is a very respected.
Actually, I do have to respect the guy too, because even before his show, he used to do stand-up comedy, and then I guess that's where he decided, oh well, maybe I could make this into into a comedy show for everybody to watch, and that's how Tosh Point got made.
But
Yes, actually, no, he worked for Taco Bell. Actually, Daniel Tosh used to be, if you look back at some of the old Taco Bell commercials, you could see Daniel Tosh in one of the first ever Taco Bell commercials.
Tasho
That's how
Bell.
he got-
Taco Bell.
Yes.
Taco Bell 2.0.
But one of the things that they came to the DoubleTree Hotel where they had us staying, and a guy showed up, our driver, and gave us a ride over to the. Now, just to let you know that it doesn't have a big building like it says Tosh.0. It's just this warehouse where they do all their recording. And I walked into this gigantic room, and first I go into the green room to sign some papers and stuff like that. They put makeup on me. They darkened my mustache. And
Were
then
you
they
shirting
said,
a porno?
No.
Alright, ignore me.
It was a Tosh Point porno. Tosh Point.
So I walk into this room. It's absolutely dark. I walk up ahead. I start seeing green screens, and I see this tent. So I'm like, okay, am I expecting to see Daniel sitting inside this tent? I get in. He's not there yet. I'm the first one there. And I sit
Alone
down.
in the porno tent.
And next thing I know, I hear this. Daniel is walking. Daniel is walking. Daniel is walking.
Hey, Tommy.
I wonder what he was doing.
No telling. Tommy, did you say when you were talking to Tosh, at some point you mentioned my name to him, and didn't you say he had a certain response about when you mentioned my name?
Yes, he didn't put that in there, but he was like, oh, Tommy. I said, he's American. And he's like, oh, thank God, Tommy. I was about to get on the phone and, call the government, the FBI.
Again, Tommy with the FBI? How many people want to call the FBI on you?
Oh, thank you for giving credit to that, Mr. Marky D, so please, hush.
Hey, Marky D, so if you know about the Fat Boys, if you just had to throw out your all-time favorite Fat Boys jam, what would that be, do you think, off the top of your head?
I don't know.
Crushin'.
Crushin' was great, man. It had great guitar solos, had that 80s Mesa Boogie sound, man.
Are you ready, Freddie?
It was definitely old school. Are You Ready for Freddie? It was cool, man. It almost reminded me of like a Fresh Prince type of song, But if I had to pick one, I'll just say I'm like Tommy. Sometimes I ask people questions hoping that I'll get to answer the same question, And
to be honest,
if I had to pick one, what is the one I would pick, Tommy? That I would pick? Would it be Let's Get Funky?
What's the one about where he goes to sleep hungry or something and he wakes up goes and breaks into the supermarket.
Jailhouse rap. Jailhouse rap. Yeah, that was it.
Before we came on the air, I thought of a song. Now it's kind of a mixture of another song, but I don't like this particular song. But I thought the beat is pretty handy. But it goes like, okay, it goes like this. I'm so hungry. I'll clean out your buffet. You invite me over for dinner or lunch, and I'll empty out your refrigerator, 'cause I'm so hungry. Beware of my hunger, 'cause I'll clean your house and home. I'm so hungry. I'll eat anything you put in front of me.
Thank you for the crickets.
Go
That
eat
was
up.
great.
Go
The
eat
crickets are
up. Go
great,
suck
man.
on go suck
well,
on railroad.
Hey, Tommy, are you trying to say you don't like that old school synth sound of "Fancy" by Iggy Azalea? Because who that, do that, you know? I mean, that's that classic. It almost sounds like "Jam on It" by Nucleus, you know? Dum 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 dum. I mean, that's like a sick beat, man. You know, I'm glad you said the beat is handy. Shout out definitely to Weird Al Yankovic, because I think he covered that song and called it handy, didn't he?
Yes. I'm so handy. You never know. I'll be your stripper, taking off your lacquer, quicker and quicker.
I'd have to say still, Weird Al has never topped his Amish Paradise and Eat It lasagna. How about lasagna, man? Lasagna. I mean, you can't beat the classics, man, because that's bigger than pop culture.
I tell you what, someday if I ever get the right kind of stuff, I'm gonna get Weird Al on my show someday. I'm gonna get the Trailer Park Boys on my show.
Tommy. Remember that show I
That
showed
would be
you
awesome.
recently? You remember that show I showed you recently? You said you didn't really get into it, but it was about a comedy band, these two girls. It was called Garfunkel and Oates.
Yes.
Garfunkel and Oates actually met Weird Al in their like third episode, and he totally was just like, "You guys aren't funny at all. What the heck?" Like, and he got really pissed off and left the room, and that was the whole cameo for the show. He never came back on. But I was hoping you would watch the show long enough to see that, man. But that would be awesome if you could get Weird Al on there, dude. I would get you to sign my chest, and then I would get it
I
tattooed
would
on
go for
myself.
Chevy Chase, even if he is like extremely old now. But I remember him. But let's get one thing straight. He did National Lampoon's Vacation. Those were classic movies back then.
So Chevy Chase, you think would be better than Weird Al?
He's alive?
But still, they'll have Weird Al. Of course, we gotta have Weird Al on the show.
Honestly, here's the interesting subject.
Who, Mark?
A lot of actors.
Let
We should
Mark
have
say.
Weird Al Bozek on the show.
Also, Weird Al.
Shut up.
Also, Weird Al did one of the voices in My Little Pony as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Mark.
Was he Rainbow Crash?
No, it's cheese sandwich.
Oh, Brohoof.
Brody moments. Here's your Brody facts with Mark. Hi there.
Mark, I have a question for you. This is a question from
Which Mark?
Mark Hyder, dummy.
Whoa.
I'm just being funny, okay? Don't worry. Don't get
Dummy's a positive word. Very positive.
Okay, I just lost my jeez.
You lost your mic? Oh, there's the mic.
No, I was trying to think of a question I was asking Mark Hyder, and I lost track of thought. Oh, yes.
Hey, Tommy, if you need help remembering the question, you could always just, beatbox and then, rap it to him and spoken word freestyle it to him over there in the UK.
Okay, this is a question from the MCW guys. Could you please say, "I have some bad news for you"?
Bad news.
What?
Mark?
Mark, just say, I have some bad news for ya.
Sorry, mate, I've got some bad news for you.
No, not like that. Like, say, I have some bad news for ya.
The low voice.
And
I have some bad news for ya.
Slower.
Mark, say it like this. I'm
He's doing
afraid
it
it's not.
again.
Oh, I have some bad news for ya.
You ready, Mark?
No.
Why do you want him to say that, Tommy?
Bad news,
it's-
Barrett.
I don't get it.
I don't get it at all. I don't get it, mate.
It's
It's over my head.
It's a
Move on,
British
move on.
wrestler.
Okay. So, let me think here. Just stuff it rolling off my head. Also, shout out to Mr. Bob Dylan, one of my $25 patron. Thank you for supporting the Tommy Network. Thank you to
Hey,
all the
Mr.
other patrons.
Tambourine Man.
Thank you to all the other patrons that have been supporting the Tommy Network. And if you want to, patreon.com/TommyNC2010. Help the Tommy Network become a structured network, and hopefully someday
Newcomers
can,
are welcome.
I could become a full-time YouTuber and make more content for you guys. And I love doing my job. I love my viewers, and I appreciate all my friends here. But I just want to say, we got Eddie Explorers, we have Hamza Vlogs, we have Mark Hyder, we have MCW, known as Marky D as Mr. Mayhem, and we have the Sega Camp Gamer. And I want to say, I'm Tommy NC2010, and I want to say thank you for watching this show tonight. And as always, I'm Tommy NC2010, and thank you for watching tonight's show. My special guest here, Hamza Vlogs, and I want to say thank you for watching this show tonight. I'm keeping you on the inside. Fact.
What?